stage muted, get the bot in here, and get our Discord posted. Alright, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is September 8th, and this is the September 8th weekend Devstream. We are not going to be doing Text Quest stuff today, taking a break from that. So today we're going to be taking another look at Unity's 2D tile system. I have been messing around with this system to set up sprites for a friend of mine for an art pack that he made, and we're kind of continuing our work, both getting myself used to the 2D workflow because I'm curious about it, and also coming up with some tooling to help with the 2D workflow. We already have as of right now, we have a window that will let us export sprite data as JSON and import sprite data from JSON, which allows us to rapidly propagate sprites from one texture to the next, which is primarily useful in situations like with this art pack where you have multiple textures with basically palette swaps of sprites. So this way, you only have to spend the time to set up one of those textures, and then you can export that data and remap it to different textures in seconds, as opposed to having to spend, well, with one of these, I'm still not finished with the grass one, actually. It has taken me probably, I'm guessing, 2 hours so far to get through 2/3 of it, maybe. Might be a little bit closer to an hour and a half, but, you know, anything that takes you an hour and a half to do, you don't want to do twice, let alone 3 times. So this tool basically, once I'm finished with the grass, which pretty much now only means I have to finish mapping these mountains. Once I'm done with that, I'll be able to export the JSON or the sprite data as a single JSON file and then re-import it to a second texture with different names. And then it's done in a matter of seconds as opposed to hours. So that's a pretty nice workflow. This tool is pretty much done. I don't actually think I need to do anything else for this particular tool. There are a couple of other ideas for tools that I have in the back of my head, but for now I'm not really too keen on pursuing them, just because I would like to mess around with this workflow a little bit to really understand how it feels to work with this. I do have a couple of things that we're going to be doing today, code-wise, which is largely going to be related to coding custom tiles. I would like to code my own custom sort of animation tile, which there are examples of animation tiles that Unity has actually created. You can find them. Let me go ahead and pull it up. They have a GitHub page called Unity Tiles or Unity 2D Extras. And this is just a bunch of stuff that is meant to sort of upgrade the tile map stuff. And they have some basic animated tiles and some examples of smart tiles. And I would like to kind of make my own versions of these, mostly because I actually have the example project pulled up. Mostly because I have a couple of problems with like the UI that they have for this. So the GUI is a little gross. So you can see here that like number of animated sprites is truncated. There's no tool tipping. So I'd like to basically set this up in such a way that we could that we can have a nice editor GUI and slightly better performance and code. So nothing really too crazy that we need to do. But the main reason that I'm doing this, I'm creating my own stuff, is because I haven't been able to really dig up anything saying that they're going to merge these things in. And that could be because the 2D tool set is still being worked on. Also, I'd like to apologize that my voice is going to sound a little gross. I'm currently recovering from an illness, so there might be a couple of dropouts where I blow my nose real quick. But and I'm obviously going to be clearing my throat and coughing a few times on the stream. I apologize for that. But anyway, I'm basically going to want to just create my own slightly more efficient, slightly better looking versions of these tools, both as a way for me to sort of learn that workflow and also just get some nice effects going on the maps that we'll be messing with. So, excuse me. One of the things that we will start with, let me come over here. The main thing I would like to start with is the animation tile because that seems to be the. It's kind of strange because there is no, as far as I can tell, there's no built-in like animation tile. So if we go to like tile, like there's just a tile, and that's just a generic default tile, which is what these are. But it would be nice if we had an animation tile that will basically take a number of frames, similar to what the Unity one does. But it's very strange to me because there's actually code inside of the tile map system for things like animation, but they don't have animation tiles built in for some reason. It's weird. So they have a method of sending and retrieving animation data, but they don't actually have the tile that can do that built into the tile system. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. That seems very weird to me. Maybe it's just because the animation system is not where they want it to be yet, and they have sort of like pseudo support for it. But I don't know. Also, hello, Dusted. Welcome back. How you doing today? So oh yeah, and by the way, we're going to be working on 2D tile stuff today, unrelated to TextQuest, just because I've been messing around with that recently, and I'd kind of like to do a little bit of tooling, do a little bit of custom scripting on this to kind of learn what that workflow is. Um, so yeah, in a sense, the Unity tile map system is cool, but also weird because I feel like they've made arbitrary decisions on what to support and what not to support, and what to apparently half support. So the first big tile that we're going to be working on is going to be the animation tile, and I'm going to try to do my best with this. I haven't actually done any coding with it, so I'm probably going to admittedly be kind of stealing a bit of code from their system just to learn how to do this properly. But we'll be setting up our own UI, and we'll be messing with this and tinkering with things as we move along. So this is the animated tile that Unity has put out. You can see that it derives from tile base, which is, well, as that tooltip says, the base class for any tile on a tile map. It has some variables, well, the obvious variables for the sprites that it's going to toggle between. We have a variable for minimum speed and a max speed. This is something that they purely did for their animated tile. That's actually probably not what we want. Instead, well, we would do something like this, but instead of min speed and max speed, it would be like a multiplier, basically. So it'd be a range of values instead. And then we would have animation start time, which I'm not entirely sure why that would be a float. But okay. I guess it's literally the time, not the frame, which is odd, but okay. And then collider type, which I guess is for some reason not part of the actual tile data, like the base tile. That's kind of weird. I would have thought that it was. Apparently not. Okay, fine. Anyway, so to go back to these tiles real quick, these are the default tiles. I've set up basically just default tiles for 3 different palettes right now. And palettes are basically what the sprites that you can paint with onto the tile maps. Here I have 2 different tile maps. I have a background and a foreground. The background is exclusively... Oh, actually, no, this is a good time for this. The background is just background sprites that you'd see, and the foreground is foreground sprites that would draw over the background. I mostly did this as a way for me to figure out how tile maps are sorted, and it turns out that by default they are just sorted by the Z, which is actually kind of nice. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a couple of more things onto the foreground, just to give us a nice sense of sort of presence, I guess. Actually, you know what? I probably should rename this to midground. Instead of foreground. Excuse me. So the basic idea for this is that I would have background is the far back, midground is the stuff that's behind the player, if the player was here, but in front of the background, and then the foreground would be stuff that's in front of everything else. So I'm actually going to go ahead and create a 2D tile map. I'm going to call this grid dash foreground tile map dash foreground. By the way, this is kind of weird. Whenever you create a 2D grid. Oh, hello, Apollo I. Welcome back. How you doing today? Uh, so it's a little strange when you create a tile map. You have what's called the grid, which I think actually controls the painting, basically the placement of the tiles. Then we have the tile map itself, which controls the rendering. And when you're painting, you have this active tile map here that is super easy to forget about. But this determines what tile map is being painted on, and it is very easy to lose track of which one is being painted on. So I definitely recommend when you do any sort of 2D tile map painting that you go in to the tile map and give it a unique name. That way it's easy to select from and it's very apparent what you're painting with. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a couple of things in the midground here. So let's go over here to midground. I'm going to paint in... these ones are fine. Let's just put this like every couple of spaces. Oh, man, of course. Okay, I'm actually going to get rid of these. We're going to paint these again. There we go. Now we get some nice even look to it. All right, so from this, we should probably go ahead and start working on our animated tile, which is going to be interesting. I'm not entirely sure how I want to handle this. So let's go ahead and... actually, you know what? Should I paint this like this? No, maybe not. Actually, yeah, I'll do that. Excuse me. And again, just a quick warning, like, I am recovering from an illness, so my voice is going to be a little gross, and I may occasionally cough. But fortunately, all of you are far away behind computer screens, so you will not get infected. Anyway, so do I want to put anything else in here real quick? Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and paint on the midground real quick. I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to instead put these on here. Try to paint some like stairs. All right, so we're gonna put this. Ooh, right, that's a good point. Let's go ahead and erase these as well. So these are gonna be in the foreground now. And I'm gonna go ahead and put these over here. Yeah. Let's go back to here. Right about there. Is that what I want? No, I would prefer them all to be one piece, actually. So let's do this. Okay. So we have a bit of a step going on here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the foreground. I'm going to paint my faces in here now. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to paint our curtain, which actually I'm going to make it blue or purple instead of red. So we have this very, very gaudy thing. I apologize for my color selection. So we're going to paint this down here. We're going to come down here. One of the things that we will set up eventually, I don't know if we'll get around to it today, excuse me, is smart tiling. So basically, as we paint, instead of me having to individually select tiles, it'll kind of automatically calculate what tiles it wants, and then it will place them appropriately. In any case, so here's where I learned my first shortcuts. To flip tiles horizontally, you can hit Shift and then square bracket. Either one. If you look at the painting tile at the top right there, if I hit that, you'll see it flipped. And now if I paint, it will be reversed. Oops, I flipped it vertically. Okay, so I actually want to go back to this. So left bracket is horizontal, right bracket is vertical. one, and that one. All right, so there we go. We have two different curtains here, one on each side. It's using the same sprite. It's just flipped in the Y. Okay, so we have our very, 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 very gaudy castle going on here. So let's try to come up with an animation for this. And real quick, let me see if there's a particular tile that I could animate easily. This particular art pack does not have any animated tile sets, so we'll have to be creative. I think I'm going to kind of just make things a little weird. And we're just going to have these tiles up here. I'm going to make like a couple of a couple of these, and we're basically just going to have these draw in as tiles that will flip back and forth for their animation. Not exactly a great animation, but you know, it's an animation nonetheless. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and that's our tiles. We're going to go down to scripts. Runtime. I am assuming that this is supposed to be at runtime. Again, looking at their project, it looks like tiles. Yep, looks like that's runtime. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So we're going to go over here to runtime. I'm going to go up here with tiles. Tiles. We're going to make this folder animation. Do sprite. Yeah, okay, I guess that's fine. Actually, I don't need this level of granularity for this, I don't think. So we're going to go ahead and create C# script, and we're just going to call this animated tile. Open this up. And we're going to say using Unity engine.u2d. We're going to derive from tile base. Ooh, apparently that was not it. What are you like? Do you have like a tile map? No. Interesting. Using Unity engine.tile maps. There we go. Tile base. We don't have anything like that. I need to look at their script because I think we also have to like serialize it. Yeah. And then we have create asset menu. Okay. Pretty straightforward then. So we're going to need to say system.serializable and then create asset menu, and we're going to say file name is equal to animated tile, and then menu name is going to be equal to tiles sleepy owl, and then animated tile, I guess. Okay. Then for this, excuse me. I'm going to throw up the that and art because we're going to be doing kind of both of those things today. So for this, we are going to want to have. Do I want to make this public? I'm curious what they did. They made it public, but does it need to be public? Is the question. No, it does not. So I'm not going to make mine public. So we're going to go ahead and say serialize field. We will do tooltip, and private sprite sprites is equal to new sprite 0 sprites to animate the tile with. Okay. We can do. For now, I'm not going to bother with the range. Like eventually we would do something like speed or like animation multiplier, which would let us have a range of values that it could be. And what else does theirs do, actually? Animation start time. I guess I need the tile collider type as well. That one, is it really not used by an outside thing? I guess. I guess all of that just gets passed in here for tile data. Super weird, but okay. So we're going to go ahead and say serialize field, tooltip, blah, 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 private tile dot collider type. They called it collider type, I think. Excuse me. Okay. Tile collider type is equal to that. Dot none. I think that's the default that we want. I'm assuming. Let's go ahead and peek this real quick. I suppose that's fine. Do I have one of these selected? I'm going to select one of these tiles just to see what it is by default on there. If it works with me. Okay, it looks like Sprite is the collider type by default. Okay. So Sprite, what collider shape is generated? What collider shape is generated for the tile? Yep. All right. So from there, we're going to need to say override get tile data, override get tile animation data. And as I stated, it's probably going to be a lot of me going back and forth. I should probably actually just move this over to the left so I don't have to constantly pull it up. And it's looking like, so we're never going to call base here, so we can get rid of these. This is going to return false by default. And then here, just do that. So we're going to say tile data. Oh man, of course it's a struct. Tile data dot. Well, that can't be performant, but okay. Transform is equal to matrix 4x4 dot identity. Tile data dot color is equal to color dot white. Ooh, actually, you know what? That's a good question. Is there like a default tile? Let's see what tiles we have. Animated tile, tile map, tile. Yeah, I think it's just called tile. Color. Alright, so it looks like color is sort of handled there. I suppose I should expose that then. So let's go ahead and say sprites. Serialized field, tooltip. Not sure what we're going to do with that yet. And then private color. What was it? Peek that real quick. I guess just color. Fair enough. Okay, so we can go ahead and rename this color. Okay, and then we are going to say if sprites does not equal null and sprites.length is greater than 0, then we're going to say tile data dot sprite is equal to sprites 0. I'm assuming, oh no, it's not. Of sprites dot length minus 1. Interesting choice, but okay. You know, I actually kind of disagree with that. I think that should be that. And then tile data dot collider type is equal to tile collider type. Okay, and then for this, and these are the only two functions that their base example animated tile was using, so I guess that's all we really needed. But this is what I was talking about, by the way. Like, it's weird that the tile map system has support for tile animation data, but for some reason it does not have an animated tile out of the box. That's very strange to me. I don't understand why they would do that, but so it goes, I guess. So we're going to say if sprites.length is greater than 0, tile animation data dot animated sprites is equal to sprites tile animation data dot animation speed is equal to 1f. I'm actually going to go ahead and comment that out. We don't need it yet. And then we're going to return true here. Okay. And there's one other thing for animation start time, but I'm also not worried about that. So let's go ahead and let that compile. And then we're going to create an editor for it, which is going to be fun. I'm actually kind of curious, real quick. I'm going to come over to here, create folder, create. Actually, I shouldn't put this here. Let's go down to test, I suppose. Tests. Excuse me. Tiles. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this in here. I'm going to go ahead and right click, create tiles, CPL, animated tile. Okay, so that's pretty boring, but straightforward at least. So before we do anything fancy with this, just go ahead and do this. All right. Oh man, drawing the preview for this is going to be insane. That's going to be super interesting and hard to do. All right. So for this, we are going to go ahead and grab. We're going to go to our side view. I'm going to go down to Palace Decals, and we want purple. I think this is curtain 10. I'm pretty sure. Oh, man. That is a interesting question. Okay. So I was actually going to animate this as the curtain flipping back and forth, but that's not a sprite thing. Now that I think about it, that's actually like an operations thing. So I would need to learn how to handle rotation, which I'm assuming is based off of that matrix 4x4, which is gross. I hate doing matrix 4x4s. I've only done that a handful of times, and so I'm not very good at it. So instead, we're going to cheat, and we are going to actually make this. Okay, so it looks like 09 is what I want. So we're going to come back to here. Where is everything? Here we are, animated tile. So we have 4 different colors that we can select from to show you what we're working with. This is stuff. So we have 4 different curtains. I'm just going to have it cycle through the different sprites for each individual curtain there. So I'm going to go with, I guess, red, yellow, green, purple in that order, and it'll kind of cycle. So let's go up to red, curtain 09 to start. And then we want yellow, curtain 09. And then green, curtain 09. And then purple, curtain 09. Okay, so with that, we should be able to paint that. So out of curiosity, before we do anything else, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just hit play here. So like nothing should happen. We should just have a static screen, basically. But I want to make sure like that's what it looks like. Oh. That was unexpected. Did you guys get like flush to the front? Hmm. That's interesting. Wow, what? Oh, that's what happened. Duh. There we go. They weren't sorted. Those were at 0, which means that they were probably fighting each other. Let's try that again real quick. And we have a null reference? Okay, so this is the correct order. Everything seems to be working all right. Okay, I guess that's just something with a Unity tile map editor. Real quick, just so that we have something fun to do, and to have something moving when we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead, and this is something I needed to do anyway. We're going to leave this all here. I'm going to come down to here. I'm going to try to set this up in a good way. Let's create animations. There should be, I think it's characters. Is that what I did? Small monsters. Yeah, so we can do a bat, checker face, goo, pumpkin head. Let's do a goo. I've set up these sprites already. So I'm going to just make a little goo monster that will show up here. We're going to need to make this 16 per unit. Let's go ahead and create. I'm going to pull in. Yeah, we'll make it blue. Oh my goodness. Wait, how big are you? Are you... Hold on here, hold on. That's interesting. So this is much larger than I was expecting. Never mind. Yeah, that looks about right. Excuse me. I'm gross. All right. So real quick, we are just going to animate this. So we're going to add an animator. I'm going to come down to here. Actually, we're going to go up to here. I want to create a animator controller. We're going to call this goo. I guess we'll just call it goo. I'm going to go ahead and add an animation tab to this. I'm also going to add, we're going to come up to here. We're going to call this goo blue. I'm going to put this right here. Open this up. I'm going to drag this over to here so we can see it. I'm going to create an animation clip. We're going to call this idle. Okay. And all we need to do here is we're just going to drag this. Drag you. Okay, you're going to be like that, are you? Drag you. I don't. Okay, it's 4. I was going to say it's hard for me to know when exactly this is supposed to happen. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that should loop. Let's go ahead and... Did you just get like saved there? You did. Alright, so I'm going to move this up to here. I'm going to create this under goo. Put this under there. I'm going to rename this goo dash idle. Or goo underscore idle, I guess. Alright, let's go ahead and select this. It is going to loop. I guess that's not necessarily... Ah, that's fine. So, by default, that should now just have this sort of like looping animation that it does of it jumping. So let's see what that looks like. It's very excited for this. It likes this plan a lot. Okay, maybe we should slow that down. So let's go ahead and come over to here. Let's open up the animation. I I don't know if I should... Alright, so let's put this out over the course of a second. We have 8 frames, I think, so we should basically be able to do... Okay, no, I'm moving too slow. So let's try this. Oh, good, it's got to be distributed. So So this is the top. So this should actually be something like this, probably. Huh. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, we're going to need to distribute this a little bit more. So let's go to here, and over to here-ish, which is a smidge awkward. I think it's... yeah, it's there. And this is going to go here. Man, I'm getting all of this mixed up here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to paste this out there. All right, so now, if we were to preview this, there we go. That is a lot better. So let's go ahead and hit play again real quick. And we should see that that goo is going to be jumping, looking all good. And that just gives us something that's got some animation to it so that we know that we're not looking at just like a frozen screen. Just gives us something. Okay. And real quick, I am going to... This is going to be fun. I'm going to create folder blue. Create folder... Actually, I don't think I need to do that. I'm pretty sure I can just say create animator override controller. We're going to call this goo red. Okay. And all we need to do here is assign this. And then we do need... Okay, so we do need a different one. So I'm going to go ahead and come down here. Put this over here. Call this red. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this. Call this goo red. We're just going to move this over to be plus there. It is going to start with red 0, 1. Maybe we should do green. Yeah, we'll do green. That contrasts the background a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to come back up to here. I'm going to rename this green. Goo underscore green. Hello, Vladimir. Welcome to the Devstream. How am I? I'm doing pretty well. How about you? Currently, we're doing some 2D animation stuff in service of, well, more 2D animation stuff, actually. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create an animation. So create animation. I'm going to call this goo green idle. I'm going to rename this one goo blue idle. Blue idle. 11 days till you travel back to Iceland. All right. Where are you? Where have you been traveling to? So I guess where are you currently? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and rename this goo green. Okay. I'm gonna throw in goo green here. I'm gonna come over to here. I'm gonna animation, and then we are going to go ahead and say. That's interesting. So I guess we'll create a new clip. I hate doing so awkward making new animation clips, so we're going to call this goo underscore green underscore idle. Okay, and all we're going to do is just pull all that stuff in. Actually, you know what? I didn't even need to do that. We're going to move this. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. We're going to go back here to goo blue because I'm sure that created that. We're going to duplicate this. I'm going to rename this goo green idle. Put this down here. Let's go over here to animation, and now I'm going to just move these things in. So to start, we're going to have goo green. You're not going to let me do that, are you? Are you really going to make me... Really? Like I can't edit it? Huh. These suck. Okay, fine. You hate me, don't you? But why can't I adjust you? Like I can drag these things around, but I can't... That's curious. You'd think that I would be able to edit this, but I can't? I can't put anything in there. Alright, fine. Then we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Which is what I was about to do. So I'm going to create a new script, or a new animation. I'm going to call this goo underscore green underscore idle. Alright, let's go ahead and now we're just going to pop these in. Alright, and then 2, I want to say it was there, which means the green 7 is going to go right about here. And then green 3, I think, was somewhere around here, which means that green 6 is somewhere around here, and then green 4 was here. Green 5 is there. That's not green 5. There we go. Oh, I forgot green 8. No wonder things are kind of weird. Okay, I forgot what my timing was on this, so we gotta switch back between this. 11 days till I get married. My traveling to Iceland. Honestly, better. Well, you know, you had to pick. In Canada, I lived in Iceland for the first 16 years of my life and forced out my parents. Oof, that's rough. Well, it'll be nice to get back to your homeland. What am I making now? So currently I'm working on some quick sprite animations. That way when we play, this is probably going to go poorly, but let me fix this real quick. So we're going to go down here to green. I'm going to grab this. Let's put this all the way over to here. Like this. We're just going to plug that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over here to goo blue animator and get rid of that. All right. So now if I hit play, you'll see that these two goos are going to jump around. They're not going to be in sync because the keyframing's a little weird. But that's I actually kind of like the green one a little bit better. It's got some nice hold up there at the top. So the idea is that we're going to be working on animated tiles, and I wanted to make sure that I had a frame of reference so that I could basically make sure that the base scene is not just frozen in place. It's always good when you're working with static things to have something moving still so that you can make sure that the editor isn't frozen and things are kind of behaving as they should. So the next thing, since we got those set up, I'm going to work on is trying to get a tile or an animated tile working on these curtains. So you can see here, if I go down here to tests, which is somewhere around here, here we are. I have an animated tile. It's taken a couple of different sprites, and the idea is that when it plays, it's just going to iterate through those sprites. So I'm going to go over here to Palace Decals, and we're going to drop this in here. Oop, that's not what I this. Oh, right, edit this. Sure, why not? Get rid of these. Turn off edit mode. All right, so we're gonna clear this. So now I think if I paint this and then we hit play, that should iterate through the sprites. Let's go ahead and save just to be sure. So I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. So it is animating. You can see that it's changing the various between the various curtain tips. So that's pretty cool. So we have animation working right off the bat. That's nice. We don't have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and I'm going to hit play. And we're going to hop back into our animated tile code here. I'm going to set up, in addition to the color, we're going to go ahead and say serialize field tooltip, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say private vector2 animation speed multiplier is equal to vector 2.1. Okay, so these are going to be range of multipliers for animation speed. It's a bit awkward, but that'll work for now. And the idea here is that when we come down to here, animation speed is going to be, I think this is a get set. Yep. So we're going to say it's going to be animation speed is going to be times equals mathf dot, I'm sorry, not that, random dot range from animation speed multiplier dot x to animation speed multiplier dot y. Okay. And the idea there is that it lets us have some amount of randomization to the speeds that those animations will play at. So, to give you a sense of that, let's go ahead and select this again. I want to paint over the tips here. We are going to, let me get this right, it's this. Yep. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we're going to hit play again. And in theory, we're going to give this a range of like from 0.5 to 2. So so what should happen is each one of those 4 points will now have a different speed that they play animations at, like that. So that's nice. That gives us a little bit of randomization that we can use. And I'm assuming that that's consistent. Yeah, so it probably just gets evaluated once at the beginning, which is good. So that gives us like a weird sparkling Christmas lights effect, kind of. Oof. This does complicate things, though. I'm trying to think about how we could do this in groups, and I guess we would just need different palettes, which kind of sucks. Or different tiles. So basically, if I wanted, like, this entire curtain, this entire curtain, this entire curtain, and this entire curtain to animate at different speeds, I would have to have 4 different tiles that I create for each part, so that I could reference them, which is kind of sucks. But excuse me. Okay, so that's actually a lot easier than I was expecting, honestly, as far as creating animated tiles goes. So now we can try to make our fancy editor. This is going to be the thing that I think is going to push us over the edge for. And again, this is what Unity's built-in one looks like. Like, it certainly is palatable, but it's not. It doesn't look very great. It's kind of big and cluttered, and if you had a bunch of sprites, it would just create a massive amount of scrolling that you'd have to do. So let's go ahead and I'm going to come back over to here. We are going to select you. We're going to go over here to editor. create folder, tiles, create folder, information. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and create an editor script for animated tile editor. Make sure that this is actually referencing my runtime. Good. All right, so we got this. I'm going to hop over to here. I'm actually going to put sprites at the bottom because I typically like to have my sprites, or I like to have arrays at the bottom of my variable declarations, just because they tend to take up a lot more room. So I try to get data that doesn't take up a lot of space up at the top, and then things that will fold out kind of at the bottom. So I'm going to move those down there, and then I do think this is a better way of doing it, by the way. Sprites 0. As far as... Actually, did I get that null reference? I did get that null reference. Let me see if I can fix that. Excuse me. Oh, I guess that's input? Okay, well, never mind. That's something I can't fix. I thought it was related to my tile system. Okay. So we're going to come back over to here. We're going to get rid of this. It's going to be animated tile. Pretty straightforward. This is going to be not 2D's editor. We're going to say using sleepyowl.not 2D Zelda 2. That should give me my animated tile, which is actually in sleepyowl common. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, there we go. So for this, we're going to need to cache our tiles. So we're going to go ahead and grab this stuff, paste that here, get rid of you, come back over to here, get rid of all of these things. Is equal to null. Go ahead and copy this. We're going to get rid of you. We're going to make this a serialized property. Copy that. We're going to paste this all over the place. Boom. All right, so now we're going to work on our fancy custom editor, which is fun because this is also going to require me to create a custom preview view. So one of the niceties that the Unity animated tile does have is these larger images, so you can clearly see what your sprite is. But I would kind of like to, I want to have something similar, but I don't want to make it awkward like this. Basically, the reason it's shaped like this and they have this weird like separate field and then a bunch of individual sprites is because they chose to basically write a editor that is kind of the easiest way to do this, which is you just make these selection fields giant. But excuse me, I think we can do better than that. I think we can actually allow for simple. I think we can. Oh man, of course. Give me a second. Do this. Pop back here. Let me reselect my tile in the inspector. I think we can keep the. What is this? Oh, that's all fine. We don't have to worry about that. I think we can keep this simple sprites order here, and then we can create basically a preview window down at the bottom that will show what the animation would look like. That's going to be interesting. I can't guarantee that I can get that to work quite the way I want, but if I can, it will be amazing. So let's see if my editor skill set is up to snuff here. All right, so we're gonna pop back into here. I'm gonna go ahead and say color is equal to serialized object dot find property color. And actually, before I forget, I do want to come down to their tech demo one. Freaking. Oh right, it's on the other monitor. I'm curious. You are doing that. Well, it's not how I normally like to do this. All right. I'm going to do this the way that I normally do because I doubt we're going to be doing bulk editing. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to say all of those fun things. We're going to pop, pop, pop down to here. Do that. Pull this down to here. And pull this into here. We're going to rename some things. I do try to stick to weird conventions when I do editor stuff. We're going to go ahead and rename this. Alright. From there, we can get rid of base.inspector GUI. I'm pretty sure we don't have anything that we need there. Okay, so to start, we're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to say editor GUI layout. Oops, editor GUI layout. Property field. M color. Pretty straightforward. For these first three fields, we don't have to do anything special. Boop, boop. I'm just going to go ahead and copy these. Ideally, we're not going to work on it today, but ideally we would have a property drawer for the animation speed multiplier to render that as a range slider, which basically will make it easier for people to set values, but for now we're fine just having it be a standard vector 2 field. All right, the next thing we want to do is we're going to say editor GUI, wow, fingers were in the wrong spot, editor GUI layout dot begin vertical, and we're going to say editor styles, editor styles dot help box. Then we're going to go ahead and say at the end here, editor GUI layout. I can't type today. Editor GUI layout dot end vertical. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and say editor GUI dot indent level plus plus editor GUI dot indent level minus minus. We're going to say editor GUI layout dot property field m sprites comma true. Okay, so now if we come back here, we let that compile. This should all magically be changed. Yeah, I was worried about that. Animation speed multiplier is too freaking big. All right, so you can see here that we now have color field, and our sprites are contained in this nice little sprite dropdown that we can toggle open and closed. So that's pretty much all we really need to do. We really need to change that name. I don't know what to do with that. But the next thing we want to do, since we have the sprites being nice and toggleable, we want to add a preview here, which is something I have not done in quite a while. Oh, and actually I need to do this too, because I completely forgot. Serialized object dot update, followed by serialized object dot apply modify properties. If you don't do these things, then your GUI won't actually update values, so it's important that you do that. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to say override on preview GUI, I think. This is going to be very interesting. I am really curious to know if I can do this. I'm going to try to make an animated... So the preview window, that is that bottom, kind of that bottom right area. Actually, here, I'll just go ahead and show you what a good preview looks like. Hopefully that won't do anything to it, like, right away. Yeah, okay. Right, yeah, okay. So if I select, say, like this goo, this is the preview area for it. That's what this sort of, like, toggleable thing is. So we're basically going to do something like this, but instead of drawing just a single texture, we're actually going to try to animate the texture, which is going to be very interesting. I'm not sure I can do it, but I want to try, because if I can, that's awesome. All right, so we're going to go back here to our animated tile. I'm going to take a drink real quick. Okay, so for this, we now have this, just to be sure that that's working. Cool. Let's make this grid, click off, come back here. Cool, that press it. So, okay. So for this, on preview GUI, I think the R is the background, or the rect is the, like, the position that we have, which is odd, but okay. I don't know why they didn't call that position. Okay. So for this, just out of pure curiosity, we're going to say if m sprites dot array size is greater than 0, we're going to do something else. We're just going to say editor GUI dot label field, and we'll say position followed by new GUI content. Do that. We'll say no animation sprites set. Okay, we're going to let that go. And I'm going to go ahead and come back here. I'm going to create a new animated tile and see what it looks like with that. So tiles, sleepy out, animated tile. I might have to look this up to be sure. Let's see. So this might not work. The preview area of the inspector. The headers of the primary editor and the object selector. On interactive. Okay, we don't need the on interactive GUI. I'm not sure what to do about this. I suppose the easiest thing to do is to do this editor GUI dot draw rect, and then we're just going to say position followed by color dot red. This is usually my go-to default thing to figure out where controls are being drawn. Excuse me, I had to blow my nose again. So, frustrating. It's possible that it won't let me do that for tiles, which kind of sucks. Let me go ahead and pop back over here. On preview settings. Oh. I guess the draw preview is what I need. Or not. Let's see, on preview GUI. Okay, so maybe I want to do like override draw preview. I'm curious about that. Let's go ahead and try that. Ah, man. I think that might be what I want, but let's try it. Go ahead and grab this. Let's see if that happens. All right. Okay. Come on. Boo. Why not? No fun. Right. So I guess I can only do that on game object stuff, which is annoying. Fine. And then that makes it more frustrating, but not impossible to deal with. Excuse me. That basically means I need to do this. I didn't want to do this, but Going to have to. All right. So on Inspector GUI, we are going to need to do this. We're going to come down to here, private void draw preview, animation preview. Okay. So for this, all we're going to do is we're going to have to say screen. Actually, did they expose that finally? I think it's editor utility or editor GUI dot window width. No, utility dot width. Current view width. Okay, so current view. Oh, of course, you're not gonna give me that. Fine. We're gonna say screen dot height. That's what we need, and that's what we're gonna have to use. So I'm gonna need to say, oh man, you know what? Actually, I just thought of this might be a good time for me to learn the new Unity editor workflow for UI, but I really don't want to do that live on air. So we're gonna try to do this with our own system. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say. It is going to be awkward. I guess we're going to try this. Rect position is equal to new rect. Wow, how awkward. We're going to have to manually do this. We're going to say x is equal to 0. Y is equal to screen dot height minus, I'm just going to say like 100f. Width is equal to editor GUI utility dot current view width, and then height is equal to 100f. And then we're just going to say editor GUI dot draw rect position and then color dot red. So this should, if I'm correct, basically draw a red rectangle down here. And I was incorrect. Okay, so how interesting. Let's see here. Well, okay, so screen.height isn't actually going to give me anything useful, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead and debug this. Debug.log. I'm just going to say screen.width. Screen.width followed by plus that plus screen.height. Okay. For the longest time, this was actually how you knew what the width and height of your editor window was that you're currently looking at. But I don't know if that's the case anymore. Yep, that does seem to be the case. But it's not drawing my rect, which is curious. Okay, fine. I guess we'll do this just to be sure. We're going to say editor, not editor GUI. We're just going to say rect temp position is equal to editor GUI layout dot get control rect, and then we're just going to say editor GUI dot draw rect temp position followed by color dot blue, and then I'm also going to go ahead and just debug dot log temp position, just to kind of give us a sense of what values those are. I got a scripting error. Oh. Okay, and then clear that. So that's that. Okay, weird. So my width is, it looks like we have 10 padding on each side, which is understandable. Um, so we have a height of 16, that's fine. The main thing is our Y value. It's at 102, 900. I'm going to try arbitrarily moving this up by like 400. See if that pops up. Because it should. It should definitely show up like somewhere around here. But it's not. How interesting. Alright, we're going to make this... What's the size? 14, I guess. So 14, we're going to say this. It looked like it was -2, I think. Right? -20. So we have a width of 79. Yeah, okay. So say this -20f. This should work for position. So let's see if that does. Really? I am legitimately baffled. It should be around here. I guess let's try going minus 700. That should put us pretty much right below the blue one. Really? Okay. Well, let's do this then. So we're gonna compare these two rect values to see what they are. It's odd that we're not seeing anything. That's very strange to me. Okay, so here. You know, the Y value is not particularly... It's not particularly large. It's only 100 past this, which means that it should pretty much be there. Okay, but why are you just not being drawn? That is very strange. I must be doing something small and weird. Draw rect, temp position, color blue. Draw rect position, color red. Huh. Interesting. XY width is equal to current utility view width minus 20. It's identical. Height is equal to 100f. We should be getting something, but we're not getting anything. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to try something weird here. So I'm going to do this. Say rect position is equal to new rect based off of temp position. And then we're just going to say position dot y plus equals 100f. All I can think of is that, let's try editor GUI layout dot control. Okay, so let's get control rect. Nope. All right. Editor GUI utility dot control. Object picker icon, whatever. Let's test this real quick. So all that's changed here is that I have now derived my position from a control rect. And maybe that's enough? No. Okay, something else is definitely going on here then. That's madness. Madness. How on earth can it not be visible? I have to be doing something tiny and stupid. That's going to embarrass me later. I just know it. Madness. So these values are essentially the same. And it's still not drawing it. So now that we're not calling this, we're getting our temp position. We're getting... And then we're basing the position off of that. Position.y plus equals 100f. It's nothing. I mean, draw rag, temp position, color blue, position red. Why? This shouldn't matter. Fascinating. Okay, just out of curiosity then, we're going to try this. Editor GUI layout dot get control rect. We're going to do another get control rect. We're just going to see if that does it. See if that one drops. Not save. Oh, no, I got an error there. Let's go ahead and try that. Really? You're just messing with me, Unity. Okay, fine. Let's make this blue again. There. So now we have two different blues. We should see two different blue bars then. This is ridiculous. This is madness. How is it not being drawn? What's going on? I am legitimately baffled by this. Okay, huh. So, no matter what I do, position just doesn't draw. But temp position does. And if I make this like green, just to make sure that they're not overlapping with each other, I guess I'll do this. Just to, so let's see if we still get anything drawing. Madness! Okay, legitimately, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to go ahead and comment these out. Let's just see if we get that. I might have a theory, actually, that would be very weird if it's true. Okay. Okay. But why? Okay, let me try this. Let me try... Man, that would be freaking weird. I'm going to go ahead and come back to here. We're going to go ahead and come back to here. And I might have a... Okay. What the heck? Why? I don't understand. This is legitimately baffling to me. Really? So if I don't do get control rect, it just utterly fails. For seemingly no reason. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll just have to do this manually, which is annoying, but fine. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. So we're going to say get control rect, and then here we're going to say position.set. I hate that I have to do this. Excuse me. So we're going to say position.x followed by position. No, it's not going to be that. It's actually going to be screen. Really? I wonder if that was it. Well, let's try this. Screen.height minus... I'm trying to get the difference here. Position.y, so we're going to need to wrap that. We're going to follow with position.width, followed by position, we'll just say 100f. Okay. So I'm going to let this go, and I have a theory that it's not going to draw. Yep. And that's because of this. Yep. Okay, so God, you suck, Unity. Great. So essentially what's happening here is when I try to ping the screen's height, Unity's editor is freaking out. And that's why we can't see it. So I can't do anything referencing the screen, which means I can't get the absolute freaking bottom of the window, which is highly annoying. Cool. That means I have to get creative with this. And that means I'm just going to have to draw the preview right below the sprites, which is ugly, and I hate that. But for now, that will at least let us move forward. So we're going to get rid of all of that. And we're going to say editor GUI layout.get control rect. And we're going to say GUI layout.height of 100f. Say rect position is equal to that. Editor GUI editor GUI dot draw rect position followed by color dot blue. Okay, that should give us a little blue line underneath our sprites. I suppose I could actually put this up at the top. That would work as well. It's just kind of annoying. I really wanted to have it be at the bottom. I really wanted it to be in that preview area, but there's freaking arbitrary restrictions on the GUI. All right, fine. Excuse me. So we're going to actually move this up to the top then. All right. So with that, we are going to... It's going to be a little awkward, but I think we can do this. We're going to have this be editor GUI layout dot begin vertical. Do that, and that's going to be editor styles dot help box. Okay, and then we're going to come down here at the very bottom. Editor GUI layout dot end vertical. Then we're going to say, I'm just going to cheat here. I'm going to say m color dot is expanded is equal to editor GUI layout dot fold out, and then we're going to say m color dot is expanded followed by new GUI content animation preview, and then we're going to say if m color dot is expanded here, do that. All right, so from here we are going to want to do this. This is going to be very interesting. We are going to say private int sprite preview index, I guess, is equal to 0. Okay, we're going to need that. And then we're going to say how do I want to do this? Oh man, this is going to be super awkward. I think I can do time.delta time in the editor. I think I can do time.delta time in the editor. I wonder. I'm reasonably sure that I can, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to go ahead and say private float. Yeah, we'll make that a magic number for now. All right, so no, actually, we are going to need private float preview delta is equal to 0f. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to say position.set position.x plus position.width divided by 2f minus 50f. I think we need that. Okay, I'm going to say position.y. We're going to say 100f is the width, followed by position.height. Pretty straightforward. And then we're just going to say this is going to be interesting. Editor GUI dot draw texture, I think is what we want. Texture transparent. And we're going to need to give it position followed by our image, which is going to be, oh, you suck so hard. Frack. Will you let me do that? Maybe I can do a sprite. Let's see. Editor GUI dot sprite. Of course not. Sprite. The problem is I can't show the texture. The texture is worthless because the texture is the entire freaking thing. I need to draw specifically the sprite, which is really not easy. Let me think. I need to get the sprite's texture. So let me try this. Sprites dot get array element at index I dot 0 dot get object object reference value as sprite dot texture. Okay, I think we need the texture. Now let's see. It's possible. Excuse me. So I'm going to try this. Editor GUI dot draw texture transparent position, and then this. So this is going to give me a problem initially. But first things first, I want to say if m sprites dot array size, not that, array size is greater than 0, and then we're going to do all this fun stuff. Else, we're going to say editor GUI layout dot label field, and we're just going to say new GUI content no animation sprites set yet. We'll just say set. Okay. So in theory, what should happen now is we'll get a little fold out at the top there. Right, I got it indented. No animation sprite set. We're going to come up to here. Ah, I knew it. Dang it. Let's go ahead and see what we can find on the internet real quick to do this, because I think I've not actually had to try to force sprites to draw. So we're going to say Unity custom editor draw packed sprite. I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Here we go. There we go. GUI.draw texture with text chords. Okay, that's what I need. So instead of this, we are going to say GUI.draw texture with text chords, and then we're going to say position. Yes. All right, fine. So I got to do that whole thing then. So we're going to need to basically do this. Sprite. Now, before we do that, let's go ahead and I'm going to say sprite. Sprite is equal to this. We can get rid of the wrapping parens. We're going to keep it at 0 for now. That'll be fine. And then we're going to say sprite.texture followed by sprite.texture rect. And then let's see what that does. Okay. So close, but not accurate. Oh, actually, I know why. This is Palace decals. Pop over to here. Dang it. I do have it patched to full rec. Okay. That's less useful than I would have liked. We're going to do this. GUI.indent level ++. And copy this, paste this here, minus. And then we are going to I guess I'll debug this texture rect to see if it's accurate. Okay. 0.76. So it should be basically here, I think. Y76, so yeah, it would be 0 on that, Y176. That seems about right. But it is unfortunately not doing anything correctly. Let me see if there's something else I need to do. Scale mode argument. Scale to fit. Oh, it's probably scaling then. I guess. Okay. I'm so close, but it's not quite there. Let's go ahead and pop out. Let's see. Get path. Property. I bet the texture being returned is not correct. Let's see. Property field. We get our property object reference. Sprite. It's not equal null. Property height. Image height. Drop preview texture. No, it is a sprite texture. That's about right. How vexing. It must be incorrectly drawing it. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, we're giving it the position. All right. Let's see. Right. Well, it's less useful than I was hoping. So it seems to be giving me something, but it's not quite what I need. I feel like, excuse me, the disease. Um, I feel like it is drawing the texture, but it's clamped. Like we're getting some weird aspect ratios here. Let me make sure that my width isn't stupid. Let's see, position dot x plus that. It's got a width of 100f. That's correct. Just as a matter of just a test, we're going to say editor GUI dot draw rect, and we're going to say position followed by color dot color dot gray. We're just going to draw that. So that should draw in the area that the preview is going to be in, which should be in the center. Okay, I was just making sure that it wasn't getting squished for some reason. The coughing. Okay. We're so close. I can taste it. But it doesn't seem to want to do that. I guess I could try to do the actual full bit of code that he's doing here. So let's see, draw preview texture full size. Position. Spread out texture chords ratio. Alright, well, I wouldn't have thought this, but we're going to go ahead and try and copy this whole thing. Okay, so we're going to delete this. We're going to paste this here. Okay, so I guess chords is what we want here. So sprite.texture width. Let's see. All right, I guess I had to do that then. Excuse me. So that seems to be working pretty well then. I will have to review this just to figure out why we needed to do this, but okay. Let's see. It's super weird that we have to do that. But so be it. I'm going to add a quick comment here, like calculate rect values to properly draw just the sprite and not the full texture. All right, so that seems to be working, and now we're going to try to get it to animate. So what we're going to do is every time we get to this, we're going to add a little bit of time to our delta. So we're just going to say preview delta plus equals time.delta time. I'm 90% sure that this will work. I've not used time.delta time in the editor before. Oh man, yeah, okay. I think we're just gonna try that and see what happens. All right, and then we're gonna say if preview delta is greater than 1f, then we're gonna say preview delta minus equals 1f, and then we're gonna say preview index plus plus. We're gonna go ahead and dump this instead of 0. We're gonna create that preview index, and then we're gonna say if preview index is greater than msprites.array size, and then we're say preview index is equal to 0. I'm also going to go ahead and put this down here up at the top as a safety check in case you resize it. Let's see what that does. No, it's not doing anything. Okay. Oh wait, it was. It's just very slow. Interesting. Excuse me. Okay, where is this debug coming from? Oh, right there. Let's get rid of these things as well. Um, I'm not super happy about that, but it'll work, I guess. Ooh, we got a null reference exception. That was definitely not a good thing. Oh. Hmm. That's why I added that check there. Oh, I need to say greater than or equal to. That was me. That was me. That was all me being stupid. Length checks are exclusive, not inclusive. So let's go ahead and let that compile. There we go. Mm, that could certainly go faster. Yeah, that's way too slow. Also, it skipped purple, which is... Oh, shoot. No, hold on. That I do actually want to be... What on earth am I doing here? Something else has gone wrong here. Hold on. That's all correct. That's also correct. Hmm. So purple is the last one. There we go. There we go. That seems to be much more reasonable. So there we go. So we can actually see our animation preview now, which is nice. Get rid of that, clear this out. We're going to come back over to here. Okay, so it's clearly going faster than I was expecting. Each frame should be there for about 1 second, so it should be like... Okay, I guess that's about 1 second. So cool. I got that working. That's kind of nice. I'm trying to think of a way that I can really improve that a little bit. We're going to need to stress test it, I guess. So first things first, we're going to want to come over to here. I'm going to say true on that. And then otherwise, I think we're okay. So let's go ahead and try to remove 1 frame of animation. Interesting. Okay, so time.delta time is not viable in the editor. It's unpredictable, it seems. Like it works if I have a control selected. Like if I do anything to force a repaint, it will work, but I don't think it will work otherwise. Let's see if we can find a better substitute for that. Unity time dot delta time in custom editor. Here we go. Hmm. I guess it's that. Time since the editor was started. This is not reset when starting play mode. I mean, I suppose. So on GUI, they're doing it. This is an editor window, though, which makes things less reliable. All right, I have an idea. So we're going to go ahead and say our preview delta is, instead of being 1, it's going to be... let's just do this. We're going to say, instead of preview delta plus equals time dot delta time, we're going to just say if preview delta is was it editor editor application times in startup. Okay, so that's a double. All right, I guess that means that we're going to say if. So let's go ahead and change this. This is going to be a double. Excuse me. And then we're going to say if editor application dot time since startup is less than preview delta. We're going to say preview delta is equal to this plus 1f. Preview index, no, sorry, is equal to that. 1.0, I guess, to make it a double. And then we need to on enable, I guess, say preview delta is equal to that. That won't work. Because you can toggle that animation preview window open and close. If preview delta is less than... Yeah, okay, we got that backwards then. There we go. And actually what I'm going to do here is a little unorthodox, but I'm going to say editor GUI dot begin change check, and then if editor GUI dot end change check, then we're going to do that basically. Okay, so let's see what that does. I suppose that also means that I can... So each one should be about 1 second long. But it's not. That won't work. The problem is the GUI controls don't repaint all the time to save on resources. So I have to force it to do that. I guess I could call repaint. Let's try that. So I'm going to come down to here and I'm going to say repaint. So I have to force it, which is a bit rough, but I guess it's necessary. There we go. It's reliable now. Okay. All right, nice. Making sure that that would properly recycle. Okay. I was hoping that when we redo this, Cool. So that seems to work, actually, which is pretty nice. Yes, cat, I see you. So that is certainly a way to do it. I guess that's functional. Uh, Now I'm wondering if I should have any. Oh man, oof, oof. Oh man, no, that's gonna get super complicated. I was gonna try to like add some sort of dynamic highlighting going on here, where you would see like what frame was being drawn with a like red highlight or something, or a blue highlight to let you know that it's the current frame that's being shown. We could do that, but it would require me to make a custom writer for or custom spray array drawer for that, which is possible, but it would suck. Um, which probably means that I'm going to do it eventually, but not today. So cool. We have an animated tile now that one actually does do animations, so it will swap between sprites. You can see this. And two, it will the inspector for it is actually pretty nice. Lets us see a preview of the animation itself. So yeah, it is pretty cool. All right. Yeah, it's gonna suck if we have to do that. Okay. Real quick, just so I can get a nice little GIF recording of this, I'm going to come over to our palette. I don't know why it keeps going back to palace. More bricks is the default. That's super weird to me. Okay, and real quick, just so we can see this, animation sprite set. All right, that's looking good. We're going to go ahead and come up to here. We get our nice little preview texture. Nice. And I'm going to go ahead and create, let's say, tile dash palace curtain 09. Terrible. I'm going to go ahead and create another one here. It's going to be dash palace curtain. I'm guessing 08. Nope. 07. Sure. Why not? 07 it is. Okay. All right. We're going to come back over to here. Oh man, that makes it so much more complicated. We're going to come back up to here. So we want red first. Then we need yellow. Curtain 07. Oh, nice. And we get it to constantly do it. Then we're going to need green. Green. Curtain 07. And then purple. All right. So with that, we can go ahead and put this over to here. I'm going to go ahead and single these out so they have no random variation on those. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and paint these. All right, so now when we play, we should have a little... All right, nice. It's kind of annoying that they're all playing at the same time. I honestly don't know how I could create like coherent randomization without having individual tiles for each curtain, which kind of sucks. I wish I didn't have to do that, but that's what it is. Still, though, it's pretty cool to see that stuff in action. All right, that is probably a pretty good place for us to stop for the day. I have to get ready for a Pathfinder session, actually. So, cool. We got pretty far. We have animated tiles working. We set up some more animations. Well, some animations for the goos. And in general, we just kind of got a good feeling for how the tile system sort of works. So I'm looking forward to coming up with some more custom tile stuff. It's going to be fun to work with this. And hopefully by the end I'll have a nice suite of tools for other devs to use. But we'll see. So that's a pretty good place to stop. Some quick announcements. This weekend, I'm going to be in St. Louis over at Pixel Pop Festival, so I will not be doing my Devstream on the weekend. But I should be good for Tuesday, and Thursday is probably going to not. I'm not going to have a Devstream. I'm probably going to take Thursday to make my final cleanup builds. Actually, I'm planning on making the build way in advance of that, but Thursday's going to be my day to kind of like run through, make some small tweaks, fix some audio issues that I have, and then get everything ready for Pixel Pop. So, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the day. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.